Welcome to Gym Owner Freedom. I am Scott Carpenter, and I am a former broke, struggling, frustrated, and overworked gym owner that felt stuck no matter what I did to try and improve the business. Once I realized that the answer wasn't what I thought it was, just getting more clients, and after really doing the math on acquisition and churn rates, I realized I wasn't even playing a winnable game to begin with. With my current price structure, mathematically, there was no way I could afford to pay my staff so I could scale up and out of the business, that I can have the time, the money, the impact, and the freedom that I always knew I was capable of. Once I learned how to add value by selling transformational programs to people who needed more than just workouts, everything changed in my life. Today, I own 6 gyms that all run without me, and I am free to pursue my passion projects and work just because I love to, not because I have to. And if that's a goal that we mutually share together, then this is the show for you. I'm going to teach you the framework to make way more money with less clients and open up a world of possibilities to you. Subscribe, leave a review, and tune in every week. It'll change your life. I promise you that. And we got a fun one today. I'll stand up a little bit so you can see this. I got my Barbarian Arnold Schwarzenegger t-shirt on, one of my favorite t-shirts of all time, right there. Love this thing. And today's going to be a really fun one for me because we're going to talk about Arnold Schwarzenegger's Playbook and how you can take this playbook and insert it into your gym and life. He is my ultimate hero. You know, I'm not a big hero or mentor figure in a way. Like, I have mentors, don't get me wrong, and business coaches, but I don't look up to a lot of people. But Arnold is one person that I look up to, and I have for a very long time. What he is, and I don't know how much you know about him. You know, he's kind of a goofy guy. He's got the really cheesy movies and the one-liners and all that kind of stuff, right? But if you look at his life, it is truly incredible. And I think it's on Netflix. He just recently had a documentary out on him too with his new book. And it's just incredible. I encourage you to really watch that, because one of the biggest things is that he has achieved GOAT level status, greatest of all time, and not even one area of life, in 4 areas of life, right? What else was on Netflix that we watched when we were out to the vacation cabin, Dave? We watched, The Roast.
Yeah, Tom Brady roast.
Tom Brady roast. You watched the Tom Brady roast. That was good. Obviously, Tom Brady is the GOAT, right? But how many times have you seen somebody achieve GOAT status in more than one area? It just never happens. And it's such an incredible story. And I even read I had to look, I'm like, when did I read his autobiography? My wife actually bought it for me. She signed it for my birthday, September 13th, but back in 2012. So I first read this 12 years ago, his autobiography, Total Recall. And there's so much I learned from him. But he has achieved GOAT level status in bodybuilding. Okay, so first off, he's born in Austria, didn't speak English, broke as anything in a country that was torn apart by the war. There was no hope for anybody. And what he accomplished, he's arguably the most successful person in the entire world. And he achieved the all-time greatest #1 bodybuilder in history, okay? He did that. He did it there. Then he got into acting. Not only did he just not become an actor or I want to be in a movie, he became the leading actor, the highest paid, highest grossing at the time at the entire time of in the world, which is incredible. Then he goes on, and according to he's not natural born in the U.S. Then he goes on in politics because he wants to give back, and he achieves literally the highest level office you can ever achieve without being a natural born citizen. So he becomes the governor of California, which is I can't remember, maybe the 5th biggest economy in the entire world, and he does that. And I will argue he's also GOAT status on philanthropy. The last quarter of his life, and granted, he's been doing it throughout his life, he has given back so much. And what he does for philanthropy and his causes and everything he does is truly, truly incredible. And so he's like my biggest hero. I can't even believe it's a story that doesn't exist. It's insane. And so he's got a lot of stuff out there, but what I want to take and distill is really his playbook. And there's three big things. He's got a lot of things out there, but there's three big lessons that you can take as a gym owner, as a fitness business owner, and incorporate them into your business and your life that I have done for great success. Like I said, he's my hero. He's the person who has really encouraged me to reach out and do bigger things and have a bigger vision for myself and get it done. So yeah, and if you guys have any things that you've learned from him as well, drop them in the chat. Would love to hear what you've picked up from Arnold, or even who's your big mentor? Who's the person you look up to? That would be interesting for me to know. And at some point, I'd love to have him on the show. I'm going to try and get Arnold on this show too, live. That would be insane. Come on, let's do it. Come on. What are you waiting for? So anyways, okay. Number one, three things that we're going over, okay? The number one biggest thing I've gotten from Arnold is a big vision. And he talks about this in almost all of his books, but having a bigger vision, you don't achieve like the highest ranking, like GOAT status in 4 areas of your life by playing small. And you just don't. And so many of us, if you own a gym, depending on and whether you had a hard time or an easy time, our vision when we start our gym is probably the biggest it'll be in the first year or so. And then what happens is we experience resistance. We experience setbacks. We might lose an employee or coach. We might have Facebook marketing that falls off the planet. Cecilia, you and I have been working on a lot of stuff. You've hit challenges. You've had some of the worst luck I've ever seen. Right? Like it's just one thing after another. But holy cow, what you're doing to turn this around is insane. But the point is, and for the first several years in business, I experienced setback after setback after setback after setback. And when I'm on with so many of you guys, there's a difference. Are you a grizzled veteran who has now taken their dream and shrunken it down to make it more quote unquote realistic? Or do you still have that spark in what you can do, what you can build, and the person that you can become? And I think because small business is so damn tough, is we start shrinking that down and playing small as we go along. I have done it. I have certainly done it. And it happens one of two ways. It could be the struggle, sure. Or it could be we just get comfortable. It's like our business is going pretty well. And it's going pretty good, right? So we kind of get these comfortable handcuffs on us where we stop reaching and we stop pursuing more. We don't reach our full potential because maybe you're making great money. You've got a great work-life balance. And it's what's that Jim Collins book? Is it Jim Collins? I can't remember. But good to great, right? Good is the enemy of great. Sometimes when you've got a good business, that becomes the very biggest thing that holds you back from becoming great. And that I've seen time and time again. But what I want you to challenge, like here's the takeaway on this one. When I ask people, when I get on calls with people and I figure out, hey, where you're at in your business and where do you want to be? Those goals are way too fucking small. All the time. All the time. I see them small. And it's like, hey, I just want to get back to where my business is doing, like, basically, it's get back to zero. Okay, that's a start, right? We got to get back to zero where you're covering your salary and break it even. But Arnold did not become Arnold by, like, striving to pay his rent. He didn't. And that might be the first step we have to do because everybody's in a different spot. But I need you to think bigger. And at the end of the day, I've held myself back for years because I didn't think big enough. You hear a lot of people talk about this once they've achieved a certain level. It took them a long time. And they all say, man, I really wish I would have thought bigger, way ahead of time. And so I want to challenge you to have a bigger vision. And this is kind of what we've been talking about as we zoom out. And we've helped a lot of trainers. We helped a lot of gym owners build a pretty awesome business. But, and I'll share this just briefly on a screen share, but even I zoom out And we had this a lot, Dave, in our high ticket launch. In 12 weeks, we'd have people that bring in 20, 30, 40, 50 grand in their first month or the first 12 weeks, 4 to 12 weeks, right? In new business, we're talking. Cecilia, you just crushed it. Your first month, did you finish at 35 or 40K in new business added or something like that? Awesome. And sometimes what we see is like people then take a 2-week trip to Italy and then they go, they just stop or whatever it is, or they're like, they get comfortable and then they don't keep the gas down. So like when we zoom out and how we want to help people, yeah, we want to help you build an amazing business that can give you financial freedom, that can give you freedom with your time and open up opportunities. But really, if we zoom out to a bigger vision and what Dave and I and Josh and Taylor and the whole team of PT Legends, what we want to help you do is build indestructible wealth where you have just amazing opportunity. You can do the things that you want to do in life. You can provide the lifestyle for your family, the opportunities for your family to take the trips, to learn, hang out with amazing people. And it's more than that. It's more than just making big, sexy profits in your gym. It's teaching you how to shield your money, invest in assets, right? Because, we teach you how to do awesome things in your business where you can make 200 to 300K plus in profit in a location, 30 to 50% margins. But also, after we do that, after we make big, sexy profits, shield your money from yourself, shield your money from the IRS, kill your tax bill, right? And then invest it in yourself, invest it in your businesses, and invest it in cash flowing assets. And right. And we show you, like, I show you the investments that I've made in real estate that then in turn spin off more cash flow and what that does in a period of 25 years, how amazing it can be. So we've zoomed out to a bigger vision for how we help you guys, because the reality is you can do some amazing things if you have a bigger vision. And I've shown you in previous trainings, and let me know if you need those. Just comment that you just, hey, send me those wealth building things. But I show you how even just in a period of 3 to 5 years of thinking bigger, I acquired literally, I filter my money through infinite banking. We're not going to talk about that today. And I bought 5 different pieces of real estate, including my primary home, or sorry, not including it. And I show you what it cash flows, what it makes as my net worth when I pay the mortgage, the appreciation. And then I just put it in a calculator in 25 years, what these things are going to be worth when the mortgages are paid off. And even assuming I'm going to stay in this home, so it's not going to be making me any money, but it's going to be paid off. These 6 total pieces of real estate are going to make sure I make $750,000 a year in income. And my net worth is going to be $15.2 million just from these things here. Now, I did this over a period of 3 to 5 years only by thinking bigger, by taking actions to acquire these assets. And this is how it's going to pay off, right? So I'm going to guarantee myself Deca millionaire status and $750,000 in income with no house payment. And this is my dream for you guys, is I want you to just not focus on this month, this quarter, or even this year. I want you to dream bigger, because you can get off that damn hamster wheel and build an amazing life if you have a bigger vision. And it all starts there. It all starts there. So that is Arnold's playbook number 1 that has influenced me, is stop playing so damn small. Stop playing to pay your rent or your mortgage this month. We got to think bigger. And when you think bigger, you're going to do it. You're going to do it. It's not always going to be easy, but at the end of the day, you got to swing big. You got to swing big. And if you're struggling, you can get through it. If you're just stuck because, hey, you're doing pretty good and I've lost my drive, re-engage with that. Have that bigger vision for yourself. I never knew this crap was possible for me. I never knew it until I started thinking bigger and I started reading more of his stuff and I started engaging more. What I wanted to do when I started my first gym 12 years ago, I hated my job at Lifetime Fitness at that time so bad, running the PT department, that I'm just like, oh my God, if I can just make $35,000 to $40,000 a year and pay my bills, I'll be so happy. I'll be so happy. Now, thankfully, I didn't stop there, right? And at the end of the day, is it possible to go 10x in different areas of your life? Absolutely. You need to have the bigger vision and go for it, though. Okay. So that's number one, big vision. Number two, what I learned, and I can't even remember if it was in his autobiography or if it was from a commencement speech. I think it's in both. And there's a great commencement speech he gave to a graduating class that Arnold gave. And he talks about, whatever you do, don't call me a self-made man. And if there's one person on this earth who has had the right to call himself a self-made man, it's Arnold. Poor kid, rural town in Austria, born into a not very well-off family with an abusive father, not speaking English, not knowing anything, only being inspired by a bodybuilding magazine he ran across. And maybe it was just a poster. I can't even remember. But if there's anybody who should be called a self-made man, it's Arnold. And if you read a little bit about his story, you're like, holy shit. And if you're not a reader, hop on Netflix and watch the documentary. But it's just going to inspire you. But the point is, he's the person on earth you could point to and say, that guy is self-made. And he's the first person to say that's bullshit. I have gotten a lot of help along the way. I've gotten extremely lucky to meet people and get the help that I needed and get the support from other people along the way. And that is what turned things around for me as I started to learn and digest that. I am more of an introvert, believe it or not. You know, I was talking to Sumit, who is the CEO of Nomly, which is an awesome piece of software, just the other day. And he was talking about, you know, that he's kind of an introvert. He doesn't want to be out in front of people. And, but he's like, you're great at it. You know, you're built for this. I'm like, I'm not. I'm actually a very private person. And if you looked before Dave and I started PT Legends 3 years ago, if you look at my social media, you'll find me posting like once a year on Facebook. That was it. I didn't use it. I'm a very private person. I didn't even have Instagram at all. But when we started helping gym owners, when we started helping fitness business owners, at the end of the day, it was freaking amazing to help you guys change your lives. It was unreal. And I had to level up and become somebody else. It was Taryn who I was complaining about being on social media, right? Because I needed to do it to grow PT Legends. And at the end of the day, Taryn's like, well, yeah, but Scott, it's not about you. And I'm like, holy shit, that hit me like right between the eyes. I'm like, you're right. And then I leveled up and, you know, I became who I am now because I had to. But the point is, nobody is self-made. Once I started understanding that, I am a very private person. I was kind of like a lone wolf. I would do everything myself, rely on myself. And I took pride in being self-reliant and independent. And to some extent, those are really good qualities. But if that's how you go through the rest of your journey, number one, it's going to be very lonely. And number two, you are not going to be nearly as successful or as big as you should be or could be. If it's just you, you're not going very far. That's period, end of story. You're not going to develop the network that you need. You're not going to learn as fast. At the end of the day, there's a reason why we all go to school. We don't just invent mathematics on our own, right? We don't invent chemistry. We learn from other people. And that is so important. And I am a product of Arnold's teachings, whether it's you digest things in books or in masterminds, you hire business coaches and mentors, never stop doing that. I preach it. I live it. I walk the walk. And that's the reason I've been able to achieve a lot. I am shit on my own. I can only do this much on my own. Dave, right? If it weren't for you, Dave, if I didn't lean on you, if we didn't work together when I was going through the worst period of time in the business, which was what, 5 or 6 years in, I would have been bankrupt if it weren't for you, if it weren't for Ron, and if it weren't for Matt and Becky. I had multiple locations, guys, and I had one guy that destroyed 2 locations, just annihilated them out of thin air. And at the end of the day, it was crumbling around me. But Dave, you stepped into the GM role. You crushed the Glendale location. Matt and Becky stepped into the Scottsdale location, absolutely crushed it. If it weren't for you guys, and Ron stepped up at 7th Street. And then you guys all became partners and co-owners of studios. If it weren't for you guys, everything would have crumbled. I would have been bankrupt. Nobody would be listening to this right now. Right? Dave, you were an independent personal trainer when I met you. I had a location. I bought the second location. It was somebody else's second location that wasn't doing that hot. So I bought it, rebranded it. You were an independent personal trainer there paying, what were you paying? Do you remember?
$1,000 a month, probably 800 to 1,000.
I don't think it was that high. Was it?
I don't know. It's this new economy. Who knows? But yeah, between 500 and 1,000.
Yeah. I feel like most people were at 6. I don't know. I can't remember anymore. It's a long time ago. But you were doing your own thing. And how was that going?
Well, it's number one, I don't think it's possible to have success on your own, but it's also not fun. Like doing everything on your own, making all of the decisions. That's what I love most with what we're doing with PTO and Greenlight. Like it's not about us. It's about the team of people that we're working with. It not only allows you to achieve your goals, but more importantly, it allows you to have fun on the journey. And if you're not having fun, then what's the point? You can have all the money in the world, but if you're not having fun, what's the point? So it wasn't fun being on my own. Being on my own little island, it just there's no real satisfaction of going through it.
Yeah. Yeah. And if it's just you, you're going to burn out. If you're wearing all the hats in your business, that's a tough thing to do. A one-man show or one-woman show is something that's very difficult to do for an extended period of time. It's a great recipe for burnout. And like you said, Dave, it's just not fun. And it even took us a while, though, before we really worked together on a greater level, because I was always the business guy. And so, Ron was running that place. You're running that place. We had so-and-so running that place. We had Matt and Becky running that place. But at the end of the day, on the back end, I was still operating in my own silo instead of bringing you guys into it. And one thing that really changed that and brought it to the next level was COVID, actually. You know what I mean? So we just kind of let our guards down and we just came into the fold together. And it was really enjoyable. And then we were on live calls, 3 times a week. And we learned how to bolt high ticket, take the aspects of high ticket online coaching, bolt it into brick and mortar. And so it was you and Shaners and Clayton, right? And Ron, and we're all on 2 to 3 times a week, learning how to build, sell, fulfill, renew high ticket. And then our businesses just blew up, but we are truly working together. And at the end of the day, the myth of the self-made man, that was not all our ideas. We had hired and spent a lot of money with online high-ticket coaches. And we took little bits of this and this and this. We combined it with the 63-day transformation that I had built, which was really derived from a lot of James Clear's Atomic Habit stuff, right? Along with some elements of other different things. And so we just took some of the best elements of everything, combined it into one thing. We launched it at the Glendale, Arizona location, and you sold $40,000 in new business in the first 4 weeks. But those were not all our invented ideas. Those all came from different sources, and we combined it in a unique way that just blew up. But, and also I'd been in mentorship groups, so I was learning and picking up these different skill sets. So bottom line is my first 5 to 6 years in business, I operated on my own island, and it sucked. It was scary. It was lonely. It was not fun. And at the end of the day, I was really held back. I was really held back because it was just me. And the reality is, to achieve any kind of success, it is way more than just you. And I don't know if for me, if it was ego. Well, the internet was a different place then. You didn't get exposure to people doing these things either, right? Back in 2012 when I first started. Hey, just a quick reminder to everybody, if you are ready to start making an extra $10,000 more this month, every month, by making more money with less clients with transformational programs, and create a consistent flow of high quality leads, you can learn more about what it's like to work with me and my team at PT Legends and how ridiculously affordable it is at CoachScottCarpenter.com. It is such a no-brainer that have more than pays for itself when we teach you how to enroll just two case study clients. Really, that's it. So go to coachscottcarpenter.com and learn more about it. But sometimes it's your ego. For me, I know that played impact. I'm like, well, I don't know anybody else who knows this, and that's just ego. Sometimes it's, you want to be the smartest person in the room. And typically the way to get ahead is that by not being the smartest person in the room. You've got to rely on other people. So the myth of the self-made man. Arnold had Joe Weider, right? That kind of sponsored him, brought him over to America. He had help with his buddies, Frank Zane. Like those bodybuilders, he didn't speak any English, right? He had to work on that. He had to come here, move here, learn English. So he put himself through classes, right? He went to college to get classes. He got courses in business. He took courses at the community college for business, and he learned real estate from different people. He became a millionaire. He actually became a millionaire before he did his first movie. And there's not much money in bodybuilding competitions, but he had the earliest version of online coaching Arnold did. Mail order workouts and programming is what he started. And then guess what? He hired an assistant. He had an office assistant to help with that, which was crazy. Then he started investing in real estate. He started a bricklaying company with like Franco Colombo and his buddies, European bricklayers, right? And he had the bodybuilders do bricklaying. So between the bricklaying business, between his mail order online coaching business, and between his real estate, he became a millionaire before he even did his first movies. And that's not adjusted for inflation. That's freaking incredible. That's incredible. But it wasn't just him, right? And when he first moved here and he didn't have a place to stay, he didn't have food, he didn't have anything, all the bodybuilders and his friends pitched in to like give him a mattress, to help him, give him clothes, kitchen utensils, stuff like that. God, he got so much help from so many people. And then as he expanded into being an actor, so much help along those ways, and advice from Andy Warhol and so many other people. So many people went to bat for him, and he wouldn't have been Arnold without that. There's no way. And everything that I've achieved, which is not a fraction of what he has by a long shot, has been because of other people. I was lucky enough to meet other people. I was lucky enough to get a helping hand. I was lucky enough to be introduced to an idea or a concept or a coaching program that led to X, Y, and Z. So I'm a product of really so much help. It's not even funny. So what you need to do, your takeaway, guys, get help. Get help from other people. Always look for that. Always look to do things with people. Always give back and do things for people, and look for that next step. Who can help you get ahead? Sometimes it's not how can I do this, but who can help me do this? Another great book is Who Not How. Find somebody that's already done it and work with them, or find somebody who can do this for you and have them do it. But the myth of the self-made man, if there's, like I said, if there's one person who has the right to call himself a self-made man, it's Arnold. He's the first one to say that doesn't exist. And he's 100% right. So when I learned how to humble myself and really realize it's all about the other people in my life and make it about that, that's when everything changed for me. So when everything shot up. So that's one of the biggest lessons. So number one, have a big vision. Play bigger. You're all more capable of it. Number two, do not be a self-made man or woman. It doesn't exist. Number three, everything in life is reps. Now, we're all in the fitness business, so I don't need to elaborate tons on this, okay? But the big thing is, results for your clients, you get frustrated sometimes because you're just not putting in the reps. Whether it's in fitness or nutrition, they're inconsistent, whatever it is, especially on the nutrition side. It's consistency. It's putting in the reps. You put in the reps day after day, taking the actions that you need to take to build the body that you want, or you're putting in the reps to build the business that you want. All of it, all of life and success in life is reps. And this is how Arnold has personified that. Obviously, in bodybuilding, he's done hundreds of thousands, millions of reps, whatever it is, to achieve that level. But he did the same thing to achieve GOAT level status as an actor, as a politician, and as a philanthropist. Here's an excerpt. Okay, check this out. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but I bookmarked it. It's on page 614, if anybody gets that far. There is, and this is not even for him to get elected as governor of California. This is legitimately just a speech he gave at the UN for something that was important for him. Okay. He has a screenshot of the script that he was practicing, okay, to give at the UN. So this isn't for an election. This isn't to win anything. There wasn't a lot on the line other than something that was important to him. He's got 55 tally marks on this speech. 55. He practiced this speech 55 times. 55 times. And how many speeches has this guy given at this point in his life? Tons. But the reason he's accomplished at this level is he takes this shit seriously and he puts in the reps. That's the only way it's going to happen. I don't care how smart you are. I don't care how talented you are. I don't care how lucky you are. If you put in the reps, you are getting the results. And a lot of us, and this is where I need to call out some of us here, including myself, no one's immune to this, is you need to adopt the same mindset with yourself as you do your clients. We're all fitness nerds. Fitness is pretty much easy for us at this point. We put in the reps. It's pretty easy. We put in the workouts. We do the things that we need to do for nutrition. We get frustrated when our clients don't do it. But my question to you is, are you doing that in your business, in your life? Are you putting in the reps every day to make your business to build your business, not your body, but build your business to how it should be? Are you making the content? Are you doing your reach outs? Are you doing your follow-ups? Are you doing the small things? Are you putting the reps in your business? Are you putting the reps in any other area of your life that you need? On the wealth building side, on your personal relationships, with your marriage, with whatever it happens to be? Are you putting in the reps that you need to put in? Because just like your clients, if you're having trouble losing that 20 pounds, but they're not putting the reps in, it's just not going to happen. If this is you in your business, my question to you is, are you putting in the reps into your business? So we need to follow our own advice. We got to walk the walk, not just talk the talk. So if we're at where we want to be at, it's great, right? It's easier to maintain it than to get there. But if you're not, we got to put in the reps. We have to put in the reps. So that's one of the biggest things. And we all want the shortcuts. We all want the sexy, like, hey, give me this Facebook campaign that works. Mm-hmm. And hey, they will for a period of time, then they stop. But like at the end of the day, we always want the hack, the shortcut, the whatever. It's no different from your clients. Just give me the hack. Just give me the magic pill. Just give me the GLP-1 shot. Let's go. Right? And we get frustrated by this. Make sure you're following your own advice. Put in the reps. So 3 things. Big vision. Okay. The myth of the self-made man, and everything in life is reps. I want to add one last thing to this too, is yeah, you should be taking life seriously instead of just floating by. You should have bigger goals from yourself, because I guarantee you, you are way more capable of what you can do in life than you. I think you're selling yourself short. I think most of us are, right? And that's important. So you need to take this shit seriously. But on the flip side of it, you also need to have fun. Arnold also didn't just try to follow a formula. He just was himself. You don't have to try and fit into my style of doing things or Dave's style of doing things. You can be authentically you and have fun being you. And you can win by being you. And his charisma and just who he is drove him to this success. People loved him because he was him. And that was a big way. And he can have fun with it. There's another thing I bookmarked in here. I just lost the jacket cover. But this is it, guys. Just have a sense of humor. And Dave, you and I have realized that too. You know, as we try to build PT Legends and help and touch so many of you to build amazing businesses and amazing lives, you know, and we hire coaches and go through masterminds to learn how to do this too, to become way better at marketing, to connect better with you guys. A lot of times we learn how other people do it and we try to fit ourselves in that framework. But sometimes just it's not authentic. Like we're a little bit different, and we need to just like be us. And every time I try to change my language, well, this is what you're supposed to do for marketing. Like it just falls flat. The things that we do that hit the most are when we're just us. And so, yeah, sometimes I throw out F-bombs. Sometimes I make shitty jokes. Sometimes I might be moderately offensive, even though I'm just trying to be funny. But at the end of the day, like just be you. Just relax and be you, and you will win. And you can have fun with stuff. Like this is really cool. There was a politician that was giving Arnold shit, you know, the bipartisan stuff. Democrats don't want to work with Republicans and blah, blah, blah. And he was being a dick. I don't know where he was at in California, but he writes him a letter later that he rejected a thing that he sent. So Arnold writes in this letter, and you're not gonna be able to see it, but I'll show it. He writes the copy of the letter to this politician, and it's a polite way of declining one of his requests because he was a dick. And then every single line, there's 2 paragraphs, 4 lines in the first, 3 lines in the second. And every letter starts in the subsequent lines says F-U-C-K, and then the space between the paragraph and Y-O-U. So basically his little polite letter to decline said fuck you on the side. And at the end of the day, he was meant to be humorous, you know, and he bridged the gap and like squashed the thing with him. But like at the end of the day, like you can just have fun. You don't need to be overly serious. It's okay if you offend somebody. It's okay if you make mistakes. Just be you. And that's what we really teach on the marketing angle too, is like life is, yeah, I want you to have freedom with your time. I want you to have freedom with your money. But I also want you to have an impact and give your gifts to the world in the best way you can. And you just got to be you a little bit more to make that happen. And it should be fun that way. So that's the last thing that I wanted to add. But man, I mean, there's so many Arnold stories that I can tell that would just blow your mind. And I want to have this OG on who installed Arnold's person. We'll have him on the podcast sometime. And shout out to Mike, but he installed his home gym actually in his house back when he was having his first child. That's why he got his home gym, so he could spend more time at home. And it's just an outrageous story. Like it's so funny. And Arnold has been so generous. He was generous to him because it was Cybex. He was working for Cybex. And he installed the gym and he asked him how much it was. It was like $110,000 or something like that. And he wrote the check and everything like there. And at Cybex, they were all pissed at him. They're like, you weren't supposed to charge him and this and that. They were angry. They called to apologize Arnold. And Arnold's like, no, this guy built my trust. He had the balls to ask for it. Pay him out. Right? He could have gotten a $110,000 gym, but he just said, no, I'm paying for this. And you pay him. He's just one of those guys. Like it's amazing. So a big thing that he's been about has been giving back. And you guys, a lot of you guys know. So I've made my money in the gyms with the PT studios that Dave and I and other partners have. That's my primary source of income. And I don't work in them. I'm retired from them. I help out as an advisor and assist things, but I don't work in any of them anymore. I don't go in. And but I am now working more than I have in a very long time. A very long time. I'm working more hours, but it's because I choose to, and it's because what I do has a massive impact. I've been through hell and back with my gyms. Hell and back, horror stories, and I've been lucky enough to make it to the other side largely because of other people. And so me helping you do this and not just get through it, but build an amazing life and have abundance with your finances and time is really important to me. And that's my dream for you is I want you guys to get in the same, I want to bridge that gap and help you make that same transformation that we have. So that's the big thing. Dave, what else do you have to add?
I don't have anything. I'm actually not a big fan of Arnold. So this was this. I was like, I'm not an Arnold guy. So
you just deflated my balloon.
I know.
How can you not be a big fan of Arnold? He's the greatest, man.
I don't know. The guy just rubs me the wrong way. So, but I'm glad you love him though. I got some value out of this. So
fair enough too. Fair enough too. And I can see why he rubs people the wrong way. I get it, right? And that's why I preface it by like, a lot of you might not know a lot about him. Cause like, yeah, he'll say some outlandish things, right? He does that. And not everybody likes him. And that's totally okay. I'm not sure. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt I have rubbed some people the wrong way. And that's okay too. I don't need to be everybody's cup of tea. And neither do you. And we get afraid of that in marketing too, right? We get afraid of isolate, like, hey, if I speak to this person, this crowd, this avatar, I might be excluding these people. But I tell you what, we have to, time and time again, just be you, speak to who you want to speak to, and you're going to pull them into you like a magnet, right? And it's okay if people that, and here's the thing, the more successful you become, the more haters you're going to get too. You're just going to get it. They don't know you. I'm sure if we went and hung out with Arnold for a weekend, you'd freaking love him. I'm beyond a shadow of a doubt. But you only know what you only know, right? And that's okay too. Now, it's debatable if you spent a weekend with me if you'd like me, but but I like to think for the most part, most of you would, But surface level, people judge other people. Don't be afraid of that judgment. And that's what keeps us small too. We don't want to get out there. And when we do, we just want to be polished and professional. Don't worry about that. Just get out there and be you. And if you've ever run an ad on Facebook, you know how shitty people can be. Holy cow. The stuff that gets out there on comments. Wow. People are brutal. And some of them, I'm sure, are just bots. But you can't let fear hold you hostage. Get it out and be big. So here's something I have for you. All right. So Arnold didn't become Arnold by trying to pay his rent, by trying to make $10,000 more this year. That's not what he did. He became Arnold by swinging big, right? So, you're at where you're at, but I want you to challenge yourself. Think of that bigger vision, right? The things that I showed you I did, where I'm guaranteed decamillionaire status and I never have to worry about money again. I did that in a very short period of time by thinking bigger, 3 to 5 years, right? You can turn your business around in 3 to 12 months. You really can. If you're digging out a bigger hole, could take you a teeny bit longer, but you just got to put in the reps. Have that big vision, get the help from the people you need, and put in the reps. Those 3 things, okay? So my challenge to you is to swing big. And if you're ready to stop playing small, if you're ready to be like, hey, how do I not just increase my business by 5K a month, but 50K a month, right? What's stopping you big? Comment swing big, okay? Whether it's in the chat, whether you're watching on Facebook or in the Zoom, whatever. You're watching this later on the replay. A lot of you will be. Comment swing big. We will find it. But if you're ready to stop playing small, you want to get your gym where it's doing 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Maybe you want to do multiple locations, right? Comment swing big, and we will set up a vision blueprint call with you. 20 minutes. It's free. It's not a sales pitch. Okay. You tell us about your model, where you're at, and where you want to go. And what we'll do is we'll help you build a bridge backwards to it. Usually there's only 1 to 2 things you need to correct and focus on right now to build the bridge to this greater vision of your future, right? We're going to help you identify those and start building out a plan, give you the solutions on what you need to be doing right now. Like I said, this vision blueprint call, it's going to be about 20 minutes. It's not a sales call. If you want to talk about our mastermind program or our express program and how we can help you, cool, we'll do that, but it's going to be on a separate call. Okay. It's going to be on a separate call. So this is something that you can do. You don't have to be worried of us of pitching you anything. It's let's look at this bigger vision and let's knock it out. So again, whether you're watching on Facebook, you're in our personal Zoom room, comment swing big, and we'll reach out to you. We'll set up a 20-minute call and really help you out with this. That's all I got. Now, every Thursday I come, 12 p.m. PST, 3 p.m. PST. No, 12 p.m. PST, 3 p.m. EST, excuse me, every Thursday on this live. And at the end of it, I cut the recording, and you can stay on and get some one-on-one coaching from me, whether it's related to this training or whether you're having lead flow problems, whether you're having a price or offer problems, if you want me to take a look and open your town or your city and to help develop pricing, if you have a staffing thing, I can coach you. I stay on for about 30 minutes afterwards and we work through it. So if you ever have anything you need my personal help with, stay on after these lives. And we're going to do it. So that's what we're going to get into right now. So I'm going to cut the recording. I'll see you next week, 12 p.m. PST, 3 p.m. EST. Comment, swing big. We'll connect with you. We'll get set up for a 20-minute call. And we'll see you next time. Stay on for the coaching afterwards. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you are ready to start making an extra $10,000 a month or more this month by making more money with less clients and create a consistent flow of high-quality leads, you can learn about what it's like to work with me and how ridiculously affordable it is at CoachScottCarpenter.com. And if you got any value out of this episode, please pay it forward and leave a review for this show. It helps other gym owners find the answers to the huge problems that we all share. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode.